excited today because we have a birthday boy joining us. That's right, it is Jorel Decker from the band. They've been around for a long time and they're super cool, and they just came out with a new album actually on Valentine's Day this year. So I'm excited to talk about that. Also, happy May Day. I gotta say, if you are someone who is supporting the strike from Amazon today, it's a great day to buy vinyl from Tower Records. Just saying, better prices, and you're not crossing a picket line, so take that for what it is. But I'm so excited. If you don't know anything about me, my name is Whitney. I am a huge music fan. I work with bands and outlets like Metal Sucks and Nerdist and Geek and Sundry, and I'm so excited that I get to spend my time in quarantine talking to some super cool bands. So Jorel should be joining us in just a moment, and here he is. Feel free to ask questions. You guys will be watching him. Now we're waiting for Jorel, and I'm so excited because we all need to wish him a very happy birthday, and I'm excited to see how quarantine birthday plans are going. Yeah, please ask us some questions. We are just going to be talking for the next 45 minutes or so about the new music. Jorel also has a really cool cannabis brand that I'm sure he'd love to talk about, and how we are all coping in this quarantine times. So yeah, I see he's connecting. What's up, dude?
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How's it going? Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you. Happy birthday.
Oh, I know. I fucking didn't want to wake up today, and it happened.
Well, another day and another chance to talk about music and cannabis. What's not to love?
I know.
Also, being born on May Day, that's pretty punk, I gotta say.
I always wonder what the fuck May Day was, and people are like, "Oh, you're born on May Day." I was like, I don't know what that is, dude. Like, they spin fucking something around a pole or something like that. Like, I don't know what it is.
That's one tradition. May Day is like worker solidarity. There's a strike happening at Amazon right now. So
is that
maybe
what May Day
instead
is?
of working, everybody's spinning around a pole.
Oh, I thought it was like. You ever seen that movie Midsommar?
Yes, I love Midsummer.
That's what. Yeah, so do I. I thought that's what like May Day was. Like people doing weird shit with flowers.
That is so funny. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say that's not part of it because you can celebrate however you want, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go jump off a cliff. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll send you a flower crown so you can have your own personal May Day party.
You know what's funny about that movie? I was like, I don't know if I like it or not, but I thought about it for like 4 days afterwards. So obviously, if you think about it, it did something to you, you know?
It gets in your head for sure. Ari Aster's movies tend to do that. Did you like Hereditary?
I did. I like Midsommar better though.
Oh yeah, I love both of those. I'm a huge horror fan. And actually, that's something that I wanted to ask you down the line, is because I know that you did a music video with Derek Mears, who plays Jason Voorhees and is like a super talented monster actor. So I wanted to know, are you like a big horror fan?
Yeah, to some degree. Derek Mears is cool. We're boys. We haven't talked for a minute. I have this huge thing in my room right here. Let me see if I can show you. It's from that movie, The Witch. It's like,
oh, I love that movie. Oh shit, that's awesome. Is that Black Phillip?
Yeah.
That's rad.
It's pretty big. It's like 9 feet tall.
Is that a prop from the movie? Where did you get that?
Eric Yarrow, he's an artist. He owns a place called the Mystic Museum out here in Los Angeles, and he made it. I guess Marilyn Manson was supposed to buy it, and I got it. He didn't come in to get it, so I took it.
Haha, suck it, Marilyn. That's awesome.
Dude, that's what I was like. I was like, suck this shit, dog.
That's so great. Well, yeah, I love, and I also know that you are a comic book fan. I don't know if you know this, but Derek Mears just played Swamp Thing, and so that's kind of two worlds colliding. The show was canceled, but it's fantastic if you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't talked to him in a while. I still have his number. I should text him.
Yeah, hit him up. I'm sure he'd be very happy to hear from you.
He's big as fuck. He's like 6'6" or something like that.
Yeah, he's huge and such a nice dude, too. It's crazy. It's like, that man, he's made his living playing murderers, but he's super sweet.
I know. It's like you never know when you meet him. I'm like, dude, you're like so cool. Like, can I hang out with you? Like, he's just that nice. Like the nicest guy I've ever met.
Yes. Well, that's great. I hope that you guys reconnect and can kick it quarantine style like we are doing.
Oh, yeah.
Are you gonna celebrate today? Do you have any plans?
No, I work a lot. Obviously, I do like cannabis and shit, and we're dealing with like plants. There's like no days off. You know what I mean? It's like you got to feed them every day. You got to do this shit every day. And I don't care, dude. Like, how many birthdays can you have when you stop giving a shit? For like men, as you get older, your birthdays matter less. For women, it's always the same. They love their birthdays. They love to celebrate. Guys are just like, I don't give a fuck what I'll get, socks and t-shirts. I don't even care anymore.
What would be your ideal birthday present?
Shit. I never thought about that. It's like, I don't really want anything. I feel like I have everything I want or need. So my ideal, like, this is something cool, like someone to take me somewhere, like a cool hike or some shit like that.
You know, it's so funny that you say that because I feel like, you know, we're all locked down here in LA and everywhere else. And now is the time where hiking is like the thing that we want to do the most. That just being outside feels like a birthday present. I feel that.
Well, I was with a friend yesterday. I was taking photos and she was like, it feels so weird to be outside. And I'm like, I've been outside every day, like still working. Like I have to go to, you know, like hardware stores and buy shit for my stuff. And like, everyone's been so cooped up. I haven't. Like, I don't know. Nothing's changed for me, so I don't feel different at all. I'm busier than I've ever been.
That's great. I think a lot of artists feel that way because a lot of us are shut-ins anyways.
Yeah, exactly. It's like nothing's changed. I'm not around a lot of people anyways. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you mentioned this a little bit before, but let's get into it. I want to talk about Devin Grenade because you guys have this, and I was reading the Forbes interview that you did a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was so interesting that people make assumptions when rock stars and musicians and actors go into the cannabis industry or the wine industry. There are a lot of assumptions that it's not grown by them. And so you clearly are a big fan of gardening. I know in that interview that you said that you grow lavender and fruits and vegetables and all kinds of things. Tell me about that. Tell me about what that process has been like.
I mean, I started out small, obviously. So it's like I started in a tent in a garage, like how most, you know, people start, like growers, like hobby growers. And I just fell in love with it and I kept doing it. And I would take all the money from my band and reinvest it into growing. And then I would lose it because, you know, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just kept doing that over and over. It's very stressful. Like all the money I made on tour, I'd reinvest into growing, and then I would lose it. And I was just basically working for free, like barely surviving for a long time. And then, obviously, like if you do something long enough, you're going to hit a turning point. It's like, you know, they say like it doesn't get easier, you get better. So I just kept doing that shit, and then kind of opened my eyes to actual other gardening. Like I never wanted to grow like fucking peppers and lavender and shit, but after growing weed, I'm like, like I bet my backyard would look better if I grew some lavender. I like the butterflies around here. I should plant some milkweed. You know what I mean? Shit like that. So it kind of just goes hand in hand. But yeah, most celebrities, like you're saying, when they talk about, you know, their cannabis brands, like Seth Rogen has like Houseplant or something. Like, I don't know the dude. I'm not going to say anything bad, but it's like you smoke weed. That doesn't mean you should be selling it. You know what I mean? I drink a fuck ton of beer. It doesn't mean I should be like putting my fucking name on beer. You know what I mean? Like I love drinking beer, so you should buy my beer. It's like that. They're two totally separate things. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I guess just because you're a fan of something doesn't mean that you know about it. But in the interview also, that's kind of how you were saying you started music also, is that you're a big music fan. You're like, I wonder if this is something that I can do. And you take the steps to learn how to do it, and you find that you're good at it.
Yeah, I mean, even so, like, I never felt like music came easy to me. It's like, that shit's hard. You know, it's like learning music's like learning a language. It's not easy. My TV's like getting darker and shit. It's not easy. And so anybody who likes anything, like, you got to make sure you love it. Otherwise, you're not going to do well at it. So, you know, it's like I forced myself to learn music because I loved it so much. It's like I forced myself to grow weed. It's like people should really pay attention to what their calling is, what they love in life, because music did not come naturally to me. Like, I picked up a guitar, I was like, this is hard as fuck, and I just I just kept learning, and I fell in love with it. Same thing with weed, but it's like people just need to, like, in life in general, just pay attention to that. If you don't love something, like if you don't love, you know, your job, try to find something there is. I mean, it's easier said than done, obviously.
Yeah, and you know, I think there's something really to be said for that, and I thank you for your honesty, because I think a lot of musicians don't talk about sucking at instruments. They don't talk about sucking at growing, and you know, that's such a fundamental part of the process that I think if you're new to playing music, that can be so intimidating to compare yourself with other artists. Have you gone through the process of like comparing yourself to other people and having to overcome that?
Yeah, I still do that. And, you know, I'm a producer as well. So I produced like a lot of our music in the past. That I'll hear this shit, I'll hear another band, I'm like, God, like, I'm nothing compared to this other producer. Like, his shit sounds so much better. But that's that dude's life, you know what I mean? that's the only thing he does. Like, you know, it's like I'm going on tour. I'm running fucking multi-million-dollar grow facilities. It's like I kind of had to like. It took me like not until recently I realized like, dude, you're not going to be the best at everything. Like, and once I realized that, it was a big calming in my own head where I was like, you're not going to be the best producer because these dudes do this day in, day out. You don't. Like, just accept that. And I actually did. And I started letting other people produce our music more. And it's very calming to, like, come to that conclusion in yourself. Like, you know, I was actually able to relax a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to know your limits. I'm curious. So you guys are just kind of kicking off Devin Grenade. Do you feel like the quarantine has made demand for weed higher, or has it been on pause? How has that been working?
So everything's like sold out everywhere. Prices are like skyrocketing. People are smoking. Obviously, it's like, you know, people that I know are smoking more. Like, dudes that I work with are like, normally I'd be in the office, but I'm not. So I'm just going to sit here and smoke this joint. It's like 10 in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, so everyone's doing that. It's crazy. There's a huge drought in weed. We call it drought. There's a huge drought. Prices are going up. It's dry. So, but my worry is, I mean, my first worry is obviously for people, like, how are you going to feed yourself and how are we going to get past this, you know, as the human race? But, you know, for myself, I'm like, fuck, everyone's going to smoke weed, but they're all going to run out of money. They're not going to be able to buy anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know what the solution is here.
I mean, it seems like everybody's really had to adapt, and it's so funny that you mentioned that because I think that it's people working from home all of a sudden. It's also just this looming black cloud of like, when is this shit gonna end? I don't know. Let's smoke some weed and forget about it.
Yeah, I feel bad for people because, like, say my roommate, he's a music manager. He's so busy. He's like signing these big record deals. He manages these huge artists. He's on the phone all day every day. Nothing's changed, but for most people, like in the service industry, like waitresses, I'm like, damn, like, you didn't have any money saved. I know you didn't. Like, what are you doing right now? That stimulus check's not even, like, half your rent. You know what I mean?
Boy, I feel that. Yeah, especially living in LA. It's expensive here.
What part of town do you live in?
I'm on the east side, Silver Lake.
I mean, it's expensive everywhere. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, that's very, very true. Well, speaking of adapting, you guys released your album on Valentine's Day, I believe, and I'm so excited to hear how the reception has been. And I know you guys were probably planning on touring, so how have you guys adapted to that?
The reception's been well. They're very fun to play live. The songs are just heavier songs, more rock driven, more live instrumentation, because my band can swing both ways. But we had to cut our last tour short. I'm sure, like, most people watching this know that. We had like 5 weeks left, and it's kind of like, you know, we got screwed too. It's like the way, like, a lot of music works or bands, like, it takes you, like, let's say 4 weeks to break even. Your tour bus is expensive, your crew salaries, your airplane tickets. So it takes you 4 weeks to break even, and the 5th week is where you make all your money, right? Because now you broke even. Well, we got canceled like on the 5th week, so we went home and, like, we didn't make anything. You know what I mean? Which is fine.
Oh, wow.
It's like a fucking paid vacation. I still can't complain, but it's like, it's just hard. So I mean, everyone got affected by it. We did. Like, I feel bad for, you know, all the kids that bought tickets. They're probably fighting to get their money back right now. It's like, we were supposed to tour. I mean, shit, I was supposed to be in Florida right now, I think, which I'm glad I'm not, but so we're supposed to tour. I don't think we're touring for the rest of this year. They did a poll on sports, right? And they were like, what do you guys like? I don't know, a bunch of people, like, are you going to go to sporting events? And I think 80% said no until there's like a vaccine available, which might be a year away, like a mass vaccine. So even if tours are booked, like, we're not touring for the rest of the year, I don't think, which is crazy because our album just came out, but, you know, it's out of our hands. But so for most, like, bands and tours, like, even if you book a tour for fall, I don't think people are going to show up because people are scared.
It feels so up in the air, and it's so. I saw a tweet the other day that was like, "There's basically 2 schools of thought. Either you think this shit is going to be reopened in 2 weeks, or you think we've got another 6+ months." And if you talk to someone in a different camp than you are, you both feel insane because nobody knows.
It's weird, like, you know, just even living with somebody, we have like different viewpoints on what's going on. You know what I mean? It's like this shit is literally divided down the middle. He's like, everyone should stay home, stay closed. And I'm like, dude, people got to go back to work. People make money. Everything should open up. Like, I personally don't think the virus is as bad as everyone's saying it is. Like, I don't see people getting sick. I don't know anyone that's sick. I don't know anyone that knows anyone that's sick. So I think it's been blown out of proportion. But then he's like, no, you're crazy. People are dying everywhere. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't watch the news and I don't really believe it. So I don't know what to think.
It's so hard, but I guess it's all you can really do is take the precautions that you can and try to connect with your fans in other ways, such as doing sweet Instagram lives with your pal Wit. But are you guys finding any other ways to connect with fans during these times? Or you guys tell us about like selling records, and are you selling any cool merch right now? Do you have tour merch that you guys have left over?
I mean, there's tour merch and shit like that. Honestly, I don't know. It's like I used to try to run every aspect of the business with one of the other guys in my band, and he kind of does it more now, and I do more of the cannabis stuff, obviously. But like all that merch, I don't know where that shit went. It's like you have like all this European merch with European tour dates. Like we already paid for it. It's up to me. I would give it away. I would love to give it to fans. Like that'd be cool because like it's just sitting there. But I'm sure like the powers that be won't let that happen. You know, they want money, but. We're doing like flash sales. I mean, I would love to do like a live show. Like, I know some other bands and DJs obviously are doing like live sets. That'd be cool, but it's just who's gonna coordinate. Everyone in my band is all over the fucking place. You know what I mean? We're all like children. It's like getting us to do something's pretty hard. So
I guess that's why we have managers, right?
Yeah, they can't get us to do shit. You know, nobody can. So we can't even get each other to do things. So hopefully we could play like some kind of live show. That'd be cool. I saw another band do it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, that would be really dope. It's been so cool to see how bands and, like you said, especially producers and DJs adapting and doing live streams on Twitch. Like, did you see the Travis Scott Fortnite thing?
No.
He did a concert in Fortnite, and it looked crazy cool. He was like a giant hologram in the world, and I don't play that game, but like it's so cool to see how musicians are adapting. So it would be awesome to see something like that from you guys.
It is cool. I mean, like the shit people are doing, or they're coming up with new stuff. You know what I mean? Like something like that would have never been done before. I don't play that game either, but that's a really cool idea. Like the world is figuring out how to adapt, and it's gonna be so interesting to see how the world comes back after this. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we're gonna go back to normal till like 2022 or something.
I think that they will no be going not like the last normal. I think there will be a new normal, and people will have continued to adapt because we have to. We're humans, right? And especially artists who rely on connecting with their fans. I mean, you find new ways to do it.
Yeah, and my band probably won't because we're lazy as fuck when it comes to that shit. Hopefully, maybe.
Well, I think that there's going to be a big demand for cannabis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't push that on our fans, so I keep that totally separate.
Do you feel like there is overlap, though? I'm curious about that because Hollywood Undead is such a specific sound, and to me, it's not. It doesn't match up with how I am when I smoke weed. I usually I'm pretty chill and relaxed. Do you feel like there's crossover with fans, or do you feel like they're pretty separate?
I feel like it's pretty separate. You know, I've posted several times, like, I know I do this, and, like, this is another job I have, but, like, don't feel peer pressure to, like, do, you know, I don't really smoke at all. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I say don't feel peer pressure to, like, do it. If I'm doing it, doesn't mean you should. If you don't want to, don't do it. If your friends tell you to do it, don't fucking do it. So, you know, a lot of our fans are younger. You know, they're probably 16. Like, I'm not going to tell a 16-year-old to smoke weed because who the fuck's going to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously I talk about it and stuff like that, but like I don't push it. I don't really promote it. So it's like there's so much I could do in that world and promos and this, but it doesn't involve our fans. You know what I mean? So like I have to keep that world separate. Like just because I don't want to push it on kids is basically what it is. You know?
Yeah, and huge respect to you for keeping that in mind. I think, and you guys have been around for a minute, and so I guarantee most of your fans, a lot of them have grown up a little bit and partake or have become of age. So that's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, all the ones who are 18, you guys should go buy my weed. Totally. Smoke a joint, a quarantine joint. They're coming out with strains like COVID strains and like COVID vape pens. I'm like, who wants to smoke that? Nobody.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Because I've seen a lot of brands in completely different areas where it's the comics industry, film. A lot of musicians have kind of taken it on, clothing especially, have taken it on almost like a tongue-in-cheek humor thing. But some people feel like that's out of taste. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know what to make of all this. It's like I don't want to give my opinion too much because people get upset. But it's like I just kind of feel that like in 10 years, this is going to be a meme about toilet paper. You know what I mean? Like, remember when the world shut down and bought all the toilet paper? It's like,
if we're lucky, it'll be a meme in 10 years.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know. Like, nobody knows what's going on. And that's the scary part is like, I hope that the world goes back to normal for everybody's sake. But it's like, no matter what you do, it's like people make jokes about weird shit constantly, you know, that aren't appropriate. It's like, I don't think, obviously in our time, you know, it's been 100-something years since the Spanish flu. Like, this has never happened in our like the last 3 generations. So it's like people are going to respond accordingly. You know what I mean? It's like, especially because we're quarantined, people are bored as fuck. They're going to make clothes about COVID. They're going to make jokes about COVID. I think a lot of the memes are funny as fuck that I'm seeing. So I'm not like hating on that.
Yeah, I feel like gallows humor has been a thing since gallows were a thing. So that's just how we process pain. That's how we process trauma. So I don't see anything wrong with it. It is weird naming a weed strand after COVID. I will say.
Well, like,
I don't want to smoke it.
This shit kills people. Here, smoke this. You're like, no thanks.
No, thank you.
I heard like the Corona factory shut down. Is that true?
Oh, I have no idea. Last I heard, their stocks were dipping, but if that's the case, man, what a bummer.
Yeah, it just shows you how stupid people can be. Like, fuck, the beer didn't do this, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
A little ridiculous.
So while we're talking about self-quarantining and self-isolating, do you have any survival tips for the rest of us? And I would also love to know how you've been spending your time. I know that you mentioned gardening, but do you listen to anything while you garden? Is there anything that you've been watching? How have you been keeping yourself busy?
I don't really watch anything because I'm too busy. I wish. Everyone's saying like that Waco show's good. I haven't seen shit, but my music taste like ranges so much. Like I'll go through phases where I'll listen to only metal, then I'll listen to only hip hop. I'll listen to only like oldies. You know, it's really weird. So I don't know. Right now I'm on this weird like hip hop kick. I have no idea why. You know, but it's just something that I go through for whatever reason.
Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah, but staying busy, it's like I'm just working, you know? It's like I never worked around a lot of people. I can write and produce music by myself. I can go with my team of small people under 9, whatever it is, like, and go garden, you know, and do my weed shit. But it's like I said, nothing's changed for me, really. It's like I've been doing the same thing, like, you know, for the last 10 years that, like, when this happened, this is honestly my, like, dream world. I get to go out, there's no traffic. Like, if I got to go do something in downtown, I could get there in 15 minutes. And then go back home, and it's like it's insane. Like traffic's starting to build up again, and people are breaking the quarantine. You know, I only go out to work. I'm not driving around like doing bullshit. But it's like once the world goes back to normal, that's when I'll go into quarantine and start watching TV shows and shit like that. Because then when the traffic comes back and the people come back, then I'll be in hell.
That's so interesting to me, and that's something that I've been hearing a lot from creative people, from artists, and certainly in my own creative life that's been something that I've been experiencing is an uptick in creativity and an uptick in productivity. Do you think that there's a reason for that? Do you think that it's maybe because things have kind of shut down, that there's less pressure to deliver on a deadline so you can create more freely, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, definitely that, I would say. Obviously, it's like there's less distractions. Like, you can't go anywhere or do anything. So it's like, it could go both ways. I'm the type of person that if I, like, mellow out, that I get lazier. Like, I'm like, I'm not going to do anything for this weekend, and I sit there for 2 days. Come Monday, it's harder for me to do anything. So I kind of have to stay moving and stay busy. But also artists, you know, it's like, most artists are very, like, you know, they're very like empaths where they feel what's going on around them, you know what I mean? So it's like when they're writing shit, you know, this is a crazy time for the world, like they kind of draw on that energy unknowingly sometimes. So it's like you know, say an artist goes through a breakup and they write their best record ever because like they're just full of pain, shit like that. So I just feel like a lot of artists are just kind of channeling what's going on in the world around them. It's kind of like a blessing and a curse. You just feel what's going on, and I just feel like there's crazy shit going on. So if, you know, people who are writing could sit there and just write some crazy shit because it's crazy times, you know what I mean? It's like it's affecting everybody, obviously.
Yeah, and everybody processes things differently, and certainly artists process by creating art. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about this new album because I've heard you all say that this is kind of a departure from your sound before. Can you tell me a little bit about the influences on this new album and how your process has changed over the years?
We worked with a producer called Matt Good. So he was in a band called From First to Last, and he did like Asking Alexander's recent records, and he's a like old friend of ours. We've known him for like 20 years or something. He got really good at producing, so he's more on the heavy side and rock side, and that's like something I've always wanted to do. So it's just funner to play that kind of music live. So when we teamed up with him, we literally just like wrote the record from scratch, you know, like in the studio. Usually we'll write songs and we'll like bring them to each other, but this time we were like, let's just write from scratch. So we had a guitar, started with guitars and drums, and that's usually not how we do it. We'll start with like beats and melodies or something like that, or like piano chords. So the whole writing process was different, where we literally wrote with guitars, which we've never like, we've done it like on a song or two, but we did the whole album like this. So it's very guitar driven this time.
That's so cool. Where do the lyrics come in? When do you usually in the process, and was that the same with this album?
I mean, I write absolutely everything. No, I'm just kidding. We all write our own lyrics. It's like, there's so many people, like, because the way our band works, there's so many dudes on the same song. It's like, I'll write my lyrics for one verse, he writes his for one verse, and we'll like collectively we'll try and help write, you know, like choruses for like ideas and stuff. But it's easy because if all I got to do is write one verse, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? So yeah. I feel like it's crazy for like singers and bands. I'm like, damn, you got to write melodies and verses or lyrics for choruses for whole albums. But then you come to find out later, most of these guys don't even do it. You know what I mean? They have like other people write it for them, which is fine, I guess. But we've always like, you know, kind of written our own shit, and it's easy because there's so many of us.
Yeah. And you guys have a quite rich history too in Los Angeles. I know when I listen to your music, I so get the vibe of like a young punk kid growing up in LA. This is such a weird place to grow up, I imagine. Can you share some of those stories? I feel like that must be an influence on your music.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, like, we grew up in Hollywood, so back then in like the 90s, there was so much crazy shit going on where it's like my friends were like cholos and taggers, but they would have backyard parties where black metal bands would come play. So, awesome. Yeah, literally, like these dudes had like face paint on and spikes and were cutting themselves and bleeding at a backyard party, and they're playing like black metal. But the only people there are like cholos and, you know, punks. It was weird. Like, it's just you were always around different people because, you know, you can watch any movie from like Hollywood in the 90s, you'll see like how crazy it was. You know, it's like there was just always like crazy shit going on. And back then, you know, there's no cell phones, no TV. So it's like whoever was hanging out was hanging out. You're with your friends, you're skating around town, and then all of a sudden you're tagging, and then like you meet a bunch of squatters that you know, then you're drinking with a bunch of punks listening to like a boombox with punk music. Then you end up in a show that night. It's either a hip-hop show or a punk show. It's like every day was like that, you know. It's like completely different shit. So it wasn't like middle America where there's just one thing. You know, yeah. LA in the 90s was absolutely insane. So it's like you were forced to be around all this stuff, you know?
And that's so interesting because I feel like the most obvious example of that when you think about your music is the rap and the rock coming together. And that's something that can only be a product of growing up in an environment with both.
Yeah, you see both. And I can't sing. That's the only reason why I rap. Otherwise, I would drop that shit one day.
Very honest. I appreciate that.
People are like, oh, you're a rapper. I'm like, oh, God. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like,
oh, that's interesting. So did you not, was that something that just kind of happened coincidentally because you wanted to add that flavor? Or
well, I grew up
when you say that, were you surprised to hear that people are referring to you as a rapper?
I mean, there's no other way to put it. I grew up listening to rap music. That was like the first music that I fell in love with was like Dr. Dre and all that stuff. So naturally, I'm walking around as a kid in my fucking headphones and my cassette player, rapping in my head over and over. So it just came natural, obviously. I didn't get into like punk and metal till I was like 16, and then I started playing instruments. But rapping, like rap music, was the first music I've ever loved. So it came natural, you know what I mean? But it's just some dudes are really proud of it. Like, yo, I'm a rapper. I'm just not one of those guys.
Yeah. Do you feel which do you feel people do more for cred? Play guitar or rap?
I mean, rap, because anybody can rap. Doesn't mean they're good. All you gotta do is open your fucking mouth, you know? Like, most people who rap are just so goddamn terrible that, like, I wish I could tell them to stop.
That's so funny. Well, like you said, music is hard, rap is hard, and there's really only one way to be good at it, which is do it a lot.
Yeah, and, like, the thing is like, to get rap out there, you can go on YouTube, you can find beats all day, and all you got to do is like you can literally rap on your phone and record it and put it on the internet. So anybody can do it, and that's the problem. You know, with guitar, no one's gonna put up a YouTube video of them playing guitar and sounding like shit. You know what I mean? They're not gonna do it. So rappers, for whatever reason, they have that like ego block where they don't know it sucks. They just like, dude, they're like, this is fire. This is the best thing out there. And I'm like, no one would do that with any other instrument but rap. You know, they're not going to put out shitty music, but shitty rap somehow gets put out. It's just their egos, like, won't let them know that it's bad, you know?
Yeah, God, that reminds me of going to parties like a decade ago, and some dude would always start freestyling, but there would also be some dude who would, you know, bust out the acoustic guitar. Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying recently. Anyways, here's Wonderwall. But, I mean, at least, like, some dude rapping at a party is better than most of these dudes rapping on the internet, you know what I mean? That's how we started, like, freestyling, battling at parties and stuff, because that's kind of what you did. But that kind of builds your chops and you get good, but, like, dudes now don't even do that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, practice, guys. Come on.
I want to freestyle Wonderwall, you know what I mean?
You were getting so much love in the comments for your live shows, and I have to ask, what is your favorite song to perform live from the album, and also just like all of your songs total? Do you have a favorite, and do you have some that people are like the most receptive to?
I mean, right now I like playing this song called Enemy. It's just really heavy. It's kind of like a Slipknot type song. I just like playing heavy music. It's just fun. You know what I mean? Like, whatever is heavy. So Enemy and a new song called Time Bomb is fun playing. Those, like, every record that we come out, those are like my favorite to play because it's just new. You know, you could play songs thousands of times and you obviously get bored of it. Anyways, here's Wonderwall. But just those two songs. We have a whole nother album we're supposed to release like right now. It's done.
Really?
And, yeah.
Part two?
Yeah, we recorded 2 of them, and it's just like, with what's going on, we don't know what we're doing. Where we're going to release it, we have no idea because we can't tour. It's like, it's kind of crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I feel bad for like these bands that like don't have a plan B, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I have my other business, I'm fine, but some of these guys are fucked. Like, they're like, dude, they don't have jobs at home. They're planning on going on tour again, and they're just like screwed. Like, I feel bad for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a scary time for everybody, but artists who rely on this sort of interpersonal communication and seeing their fans, like, I can't even imagine. That's probably like what we were talking about how musicians are trying to find new ways to connect with people. And I gotta say, I'm sure people would be pretty stoked if you released an album right about now.
Yeah, I mean, I think engagement's pretty high right now, but I don't know. Like, when it comes to that kind of shit, like the business side of stuff, I try to not pay attention. I really feel like that takes away, like, creativity. When you get too involved in, like, the process of the business of music, because I did heavily for a while, I, like, wanted to know how everything worked, and I was getting into it, and I was like, dude, this kind of saps your creativity when you, like, get to the business side of it. You realize how, like, dark and deep it is, you know what I mean? And then, like, it really is a job. Like, managers are there for a reason, and, like, you know, it's like they deserve the money they make. That's just not easy.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, don't see how sausage is made.
What?
Do you know that? It's basically the same, or don't look at the kitchen of your favorite restaurant. It's basically, if you dive too deep into how something is made, you're bound to find something that you don't like.
I like your first one. Don't see how sausage is made. Yeah.
I can't take credit for that, but I will.
I'm gonna start saying that shit to people. Don't see how sausage is made.
Happy May Day.
It kind of doesn't make sense, but okay.
You gotta. Well, it makes sense if you see how sausage is made, and then you'll be like, I'll never want to look at that ever again.
Okay. You ever see that video of Snoop Dogg, like, watching how fucking hot dogs are made?
No, but I can't even imagine.
It's him, like, commentating, and, like, it looks like ice cream, and he's like, yo, what the fuck? These are hot dogs? Like, you gotta watch that.
And speaking of, you're vegan, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been vegan? And what was that decision?
Like, over a year. It actually came from growing weed because, I mean, I've been vegetarian for like 3 or 4 years, I think, and then vegan for maybe like 1.5 years, maybe 2 now. I don't even know, but because I was from growing weed, because you use a lot of resources, you know, like I'm using a fuck ton of water, power, electricity, and I'm just like, dude, this is crazy. Like, how can one human being just fucking like put such a large carbon footprint on the planet? You know what I mean? I was like, that's what I was doing. I was like, this is crazy that I'm doing that. So I started researching ways like, how do I offset my carbon footprint, because I'm not going to be that dude that just fucking caused so much destruction. And I found out that being vegan is, you know, obviously is like you use a lot less water. Fucking cows drink a fuck ton of water. Supposedly one hamburger takes 43 gallons of water or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, because, you know, the cow, because you grow the grain, and then the grain takes water, then the cow takes water, then you get whatever it is. So I found out that's the best way, and, you know, it's like, I like fucking animals more than people, so it's like, why I'd rather eat a fucking person than an animal, you know what I mean? So,
I heard they don't taste good.
I don't know, we might find out soon with all the weird shit going on.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'm vegan, so I wouldn't eat a person either.
You know, that's so interesting to hear you say, because I think a lot of people, when they listen to your music, a lot of it feels like it's about destruction of the spirit, wanting to cause destruction. And I think it's so interesting that as a person, you want to cause as little destruction as possible.
Well, that's like to the planet, you know, like I don't have a lot of love for the human race, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, to me, it's a trip. Like, I won't get too deep into it, but people, you know, they have their religions, they worship like these idols. But I'm like, the one thing that keeps you alive, you destroy. That doesn't make sense to me, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, you know, and obviously everyone's different. I have good days and bad days. Some days I want to do crazy shit. Some days I want to go plant flowers, you know what I mean? That's just human nature.
Yeah, totally. I gotta recommend something to you. There's a cookbook called Mississippi Vegan, and you're gonna love it. If you like to cook, it's really, really good flavors, and it's all.
Oh, no shit! It's like Southern meat.
Yeah, it's Southern comfort food. So check it out. Also, like, his Instagram is great.
Yeah, there's a place right by me called Crimsey's that does like Southern vegan food. It's pretty good.
Yeah. There's really no shortage. I mean, maybe not right now, but in LA, there's a lot of good options if you want to make that choice.
Yeah, I hate to cook, so it's kind of hard for me. That shit sucks.
It does take a long time.
I just won't do it. Like, I literally just I eat out too much, but, you know, whatever.
What have you been eating mostly since restaurants have been closed? I mean, we've been having a good amount of takeout since we live in LA, but what's been your go-to?
Chipotle, I guess. I don't want to sound like a fucking prima donna or a prick, but I have a dude that makes my food for me.
That's rad.
Yeah, he's like a chef, so he just makes, like, he meal preps for me. So I'm so busy, like, I work all day every day, like, he'll make, like, this much fucking stacks of food, and I'll just go pick it up every week.
That's great. That's ideal.
Yeah, but I feel bad. Like, dude, if people are out there hungry, I'm like, oh, I got a chef. No big deal.
Honestly, man, people are looking for employment. I've actually seen that happen a lot in LA. People who work at restaurants have started to do the meal prep thing because that's something that they can do on their own. So I think that finding ways to keep people paid and employed is a good thing right now.
They're doing, like, I think in Oregon, like, called Lucky Devil Lounge, like a strip club. They're doing Boober Eats, where, like, the girls deliver you food and they, like, show their tits and all that stuff. And
I saw that. I saw a drive-through strip club too, which I thought was so funny.
I don't get it. Like, you just park your car and just stare. Like, I guess you're doing the same thing. You're just in your car.
Whatever keeps people employed, right? You know, whatever keeps you going, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, dude, I can't, like, whatever people are doing right now, I'm like, get it. Get your money, because you need it.
Get that bag.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, you said that you like animals more than people, and I hear you have cats.
Yeah.
What are your cats' names?
Lucifer, Tiger, Salem, and Lucifer, Tiger, Salem. How am I drawing such a blank? They live with my ex right now, so that's why I haven't seen them in like a few weeks. I feel like my mom used to forget her names all the time too. I
get it now. Yeah, now that I'm an adult, I have two siblings. Anytime my dad would forget my name, I was like, "Oh, I'm your daughter. How could you forget?" And now I'm like, "No, they had other shit going on."
Valentine is quite crazy because Valentine's my favorite one. Lucifer, Salem, Tiger, and Valentine. Valentine's from Long Beach. I had a warehouse in Long Beach I was growing out of, and we found him there. He was like 10 days old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in a studio, and so I can't adopt a cat right now. I'm a huge fan of cats. And I've been seeing so many posts around because, like, adoption shelters need people to take in cats and dogs, and so I've just been, like,
it's hard. Like, I want to so bad. Like, I love cats. Like, I work with, like, a local cat place, you know. It's like we trap and I help them, like, trap and release and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just really love cats. I want to foster him, but I leave town so much. It's like I'm still going to Oklahoma right now, where most of my business is. Like I'm still flying back and forth, like to this day. And my roommate, you know, he has to leave town for a week at a time because he's got to go with his artist places. So it's kind of hard for me to have a cat because nobody can watch it. You know what I mean? It really sucks.
Always the struggle with creatives who travel a lot, because we all love cats too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how dudes in bands have dogs, but they do. But that shit's like having a dog is like a fucking kid.
Yeah. Cats are a little more, require a little less work. They're fine. You leave them for
a lot less. Cats like want to be fed and left alone. It's just like me. You know what I mean? It's like I identify with cats. I just want to be left alone.
I get that. I am seeing so much love in the chat from Russia. Why do you think your music is so big in Russia? What you have so many Russian fans and Jorel, everybody who's over there.
I love Russia. I love all of East, like, you know, Eastern Europe, like, you know, the Ukraine and Serbia and all those places. Like, we love it out there, Romania. But I don't know.
What are concerts out there like?
The ones in Russia are crazy. We like headline arenas and stuff like that. So it's fun because big ass shows out there. I think like we got big like through like a Facebook fan page or some shit. Like we have like some really dedicated fans out there that have helped us, you know, spread the band, and it clicked. Like, you know, when we got out there, like I was on the cover of like teen magazines like Tiger Beat and shit like that. I was like, it was a picture of me, and I was like, a 2-page spread of me. I was like, what the fuck?
Wow.
I was like, this is crazy. And like, I don't know, it just clicked out there for some reason.
Do you have any fan interactions that you can share with us that like really stick with your mind?
Yeah, I mean, like the first time we went there, they all came to our hotel, and you know they do it for a lot of bands, but you know at the train station or the hotel, they're all waiting for you, like 100 kids. I was like, holy shit, I feel like I'm in the Beatles. You know, when you show up, they're all like screaming and running and banging on the band. I was like, this is insane. You know, I was like, you know, I always remind myself of like where I came from, you know, playing music and stuff like that. I was like, I never imagined in a million years I would like be in this position. You know, I remember like playing backyard shows and shit like that. So that was kind of like a cool experience.
Yeah, it seems like unless you're Beyonce, I guess. I can't think of anybody who would be not surprised by that kind of interaction, because another thing that I find when talking to musicians is imposter syndrome, and thinking like we were talking about before, comparing yourself to other musicians and thinking like, oh, this is for me. That's got to be a crazy feeling.
Yeah, it's very surreal. You know what I mean? Like I forget I'm in a band most of the time because I work so much on my other job, and I gotta get a phone call with my managers. They're like, hey, like you gotta do Instagram Live. I'm like, what? I'm like, they're like, it's for the band. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in a band, you know? So sometimes I just forget, and people are always like, oh, you're such a cool dude for being in a band. I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, I guess guys in bands are assholes or something. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess there's all types of personalities, and so maybe I'm speaking too soon when I think that reaction is surprising to everyone, because I'm sure fortunately, I've only dealt with really pleasant, really down-to-earth people like yourself.
Yeah, they're out there. I've had bands open for us who are fucking pricks.
Really?
Like, you're literally the opening band, and you're acting like you're in fucking Guns N' Roses or something. It's crazy.
Call them out, dude. Say some names.
We've had like our band has such a bad reputation for like fighting and being crazy that like I just keep my mouth shut.
I think that's probably a good idea, especially like quarantine. I've seen a lot of people start fights on the internet like more than ever because everybody's cooped up and going insane. So you're probably smart for that.
I've been like kickboxing in my backyard with my friends and shit, and that's how I blow up my steam. Like, you know, I have a full gym in my backyard. We just beat the shit out of each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good actually. It's like it's the same two dudes, but it's like it blows off a lot of tension. You know what I mean? Because people are so cooped up. Like after that, like I feel really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did karate as a kid, and I had a kicking bag in my room that my parents actually took away from me because I was like going too hard at it when I was blowing off steam as a teen, and they were like, too scary.
That's kind of good though. I mean, it's probably just loud. That's why. But
it was loud.
Yeah. I bet it was loud as shit.
Yeah. So while people are listening, and I know that they can buy the new album on Tower Records. Again, I said this at the top of the interview. Today is May Day. A lot of people are striking Amazon and also Tower Records as better prices on vinyl. So if you're a record collector, definitely head on over to Tower Records and pick up your new album. I want to know a couple things. First of all, are you a record collector, and why do you feel like record collecting has come back? Why do you think it's so big now? And also, point B is, what are the ideal circumstances to listen to this album?
I think this album through headphones, because it's just, you're gonna hear everything. It's like a lot of Bluetooth speakers I don't think deliver what was really recorded. You know what I mean? You're missing like frequencies and bass and shit like that. Mm. So a good pair of headphones. I mean, that's where I like when I'm referencing like music and shit. It's like I use a Sony extra bass headphones. They're like $60 headphones. Those are like my favorite headphones. They like, to me, they're the best. They're better than Beats by Dre's. They're better than $200 headphones. They're like the best ones. So wow. People should listen through headphones, but not wireless ones. They don't sound as good. Everyone has Bluetooth headphones. It's like, dude, that like kind of kills like the signal a little bit. Like they never sound as good. But
yeah,
are you sweating over there?
It's so hot in my apartment right now, dude. Yeah, I turned the air off too because it's loud.
Yeah, it's like it's all cold and dark in here.
LA is insane right now. It's only gonna get worse.
It'll be 97 next week or some shit.
I hate it.
Yeah, it sucks. As far as the vinyl, I don't collect vinyl personally. I admire it. I go like record shops and I look at it. I would like to collect cassettes again, but I think vinyl became popular because, like, when you're like, I love Spotify. Who doesn't? Or Apple Music. It's like having a mixtape. You can just listen. Like, I never listen to one artist. It's always jumping around. It's like mixtapes were the best, and that was rare back then. But as far as like vinyl, like everybody wants to collect something. There's something like you love as much as music. Like, why wouldn't you want to have like a piece of that? You know what I mean? Like the artwork. Like growing up, the artwork was huge. I'd open up, I'd read the lyrics if they were there. I'd admire all the artwork, and it's like the act of putting a vinyl on a record player. It's like, it's more like, I'm not going to call it a ritual, but it's like, it's an experience, Yeah. So when you're on Spotify, you're just fucking clicking play. You're not paying attention. Like, you're kind of committing yourself to the music when you're putting on a vinyl. You know what I mean? Like, it's not shuffling. It's not going around. Like, you're listening to one artist and you're going to listen to the music. You're going to do your housework or whatever the fuck you're going to do. But Spotify is always on my phone. But if, the few vinyls that I have, when I put them on, I'm actually listening to it,
That's exactly how I've always felt as a record collector. You're committing to the experience. I think that's so well said. And also, you're right. Like in an age where we stream everything, and I still am a big fan of making mixes and having variety in my music. And so it's just another way to enjoy it. And I think that the art aspect is certainly true. There's some very cool album art out there, and just having something physical is so, so nice.
Yeah, it's just nostalgic. Like, even if you didn't grow up in the vinyl age, like, it's just cool to have vinyl. I mean, if people are going to buy vinyl, like, don't buy that shit on Amazon. Like, there's certain things you don't buy on Amazon. You buy, like, fucking doodads and mouse pads and shit like that. Like, you don't buy music or clothes on Amazon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just that's like an unspoken rule in my opinion.
Yeah, best case is supporting your local record store, but since that's not open, Tower Records, baby.
Tower Records. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna start collecting more vinyl. It's just, dude, it's like, it's cool things to have, you know what I mean?
I gotta say, your collection grows really fast once you decide that you're gonna start, because then you fall down holes of like variants and different kinds of art and like the limited edition pressings, and you're like, oh shit, I have to have it all.
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys in my band, he's big on it. Like, we travel the world, and he goes into every record shop in the world and buys vinyl, and then he reads it on the plane half the time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he does that a lot. He's always running backwards, holding his pants up. My vinyl!
It's so interesting that you mentioned tapes too, because the first interview that we did on these IG Live series is Death Valley Girls, also an LA band, and they release a lot of tapes, and that's not something that I have been collecting, and I would love to know why you think that is appealing as well, because at least with records, I feel like the fidelity is there. With tapes, is it pure nostalgia, or is it just like a fun thing to collect?
It's pure nostalgia, like I grew up in the time where like you'd hit play and record, and fucking when the DJ stopped talking on your favorite radio station, and then you record songs off the radio. That's the only way to get music.
Oh yeah.
And then, it was never in the order you wanted it to be in. You'd have to sit there and record it. So then if you wanted to make a mixtape in the order you wanted it in, for certain songs, you'd have to get the 2 cassette fucking, stereo. press play and then press record on the second one and stop, and like you lost quality through the whole process, you know.
Yeah.
So by the time you ended up with your last like mixtape, it sounded like shit, but it was fun, you know. It was like, it was cool. I mean, I love Spotify. It's reconnected me with old music. I find a lot of new music, but you know, as a music lover, you know, that grew up in the '90s, it's like there was like a magic there that will never be recreated. Like to get like good music, like you had to fucking look for it. So it kind of worries me that like kids who love music like aren't going to love it as much because it's so accessible. You know what I mean? Like you had to, like, if you love music, you had to find it before.
Yeah, that's a very interesting take. I think the worry is always that the next generations aren't gonna find the things as precious as we do. But I gotta say, like Spotify, the things that they plug in the algorithm and then recommend me stuff. 9 times out of 10, I find a new band that I really like. So hopefully that'll keep them coming back.
Yeah, it's cool, and that's why vinyl is amazing. You know, it's like, so you find the bands you like off Apple Music, Spotify, then you can, you know, start collecting and buying vinyl. It's almost the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Do you make a lot of mixes that you listen to?
Yes, a lot.
That's awesome. Can
Like,
you share a little bit of what's been on like I know you said that you've been listening to rap a lot more lately. What do you usually like to put on your mixes that you've been listening to?
I mean, rap is pretty self-explanatory, but I have other mixes like, I don't know, like I've been listening to fucking Kane Brown a lot. He's a country artist. Like I don't know why. Like I got into him recently. I have a whole nother playlist that's just like, you know, 60s and 70s music that I've been listening to. It sounds like I just got back from Vietnam and I'm like smoking a fucking joint somewhere, like out of a helicopter. So that's the beauty about, you know, music is like you don't have to stick to one thing. It's like if I'm working out, of course I'll listen like rap or metal, but when I'm driving around town, I'll listen, you know, some oldies, and it's like, or Frank Sinatra. It's funny because like when people see me get in my car and the music comes on, it's Frank Sinatra. You can tell it confuses people. They're like, they don't like, I don't know, they don't know what to expect. But again, it's like music is like fucking food. It's like people are like, oh, I'll only listen to this. So I'm like, why would you do that? Like you're not going to only eat pizza for the rest of your life. Why would you only listen to one kind of music? It's like you're literally limiting your life. It's like,
yeah, man, variety is the spice of life.
yeah, and like, you know, as a human, your emotions are all over the place, so your music should be too. Like,
yeah. Well, that leads me to a question that we love to ask here at Tower. They have a saying that is no music, no life, and I would love to hear what that means to you.
shit, I mean, to me, that means everything. Like, music is my life. You know, I'm listening to music all day, every day. It's like, if I had to choose between my sight and my hearing, I'd probably lose my sight. You know what I mean? It's like music is from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. It's like that. Everything, whether I'm working on weed or not, I'm still listening to music, you know? So without music, fuck, man, I don't even know what I would be doing. It's like it really calms me down when I need to be calm. It gives me energy when I need energy. It's like it does everything, you know?
I love that. Well said. I will let you go in just a moment. Enjoy your birthday.
Well, you go. You look like you're sweating right now.
Dude, I'm ready to turn I'm so sweaty. I'm not wearing pants. My AC is about to go on, and I'm gonna try to like find a beer to drink or something because LA is hot. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but I smell very bad right now.
It's fucking. It's gonna be way hotter this next week too.
I know, it's nuts. I'm about to buy like a blow up pool or something.
I thought about it, but then everyone's gonna come to my house. But I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the last question that I have for you, this is a record in how many viewers that we have right now. You have so much love in the comments from fans, and I would just like to hear from you if you have anything that you want to say to fans about how what you're hoping they get out of this new album, how you're hoping they listen to it, and just anything that you're wanting them to take away from it.
I mean, as far as our album's concerned, I hope that people just don't forget about it. You know, if you're not touring and promoting it, it's like it's with modern world, like things come and go so fast. So I don't know. People do it what they want to do with it. I don't really have messages for fans. I just hope everyone stays safe and, you know, kind of like does their thing. I'm just worried for people out there. You know, I hope everyone turns out okay.
I think that's a good thing to leave on. Everybody stay safe. Everybody listen to Hollywood Undead. Please keep wishing Jorel happy birthday. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today, dude. You are such a pleasure to talk to.
Awesome. Nice talking to you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.